This video is supported in part by Retro Days, a place for nostalgia nerds to gather, share memories, chat, and engage. Go to retrodays.com or check their YouTube channel linked below.
Don't you just love that feeling when you've been away from home? You drive up the driveway and you see there's an Amazon package sitting on your front step. It's like Santa showed up while you're out running errands. Hey, welcome back to Gen X Grown Up. I am John. I am a Gen X Grown Up. And what was in that package? It was the Ms Pac Man micro arcade from Super Impulse. And I'm excited to look at this for three reasons. The first is I have a lot of other productions that I should be working on, but this gives me an opportunity to procrastinate a little bit more. Number two, it's Ms Pac Man. I would say I like Ms. Pac Man even more than the original Pac Man, and that's only natural. If you like the original, Ms. Pac Man is everything you loved and more. More mazes, more randomness, moving fruit, all that cool stuff, and I put a lot of quarters into the original. And the third is, this is the first Series 5 micro arcade I've had a chance to look at. We've looked at the previous iterations going all the way back to Series 1. In addition to collecting and playing with these, I enjoy seeing how companies improve and iterate on a product as they get a chance to get a little better technology, they learn from their mistakes, and they hear from people like you and I. Customers who are on board but would like to see little improvements. It's no secret that the audio on these has left quite a bit to be desired. That is something I want to find out about too, and since you clicked on this video, I'm guessing you do too. So let's get after it.
Don't you know that you're a grown up? No games, no puns. Not allowed if you're a grown up.
Ms. Pac Man, here she is. This is the Ms. Pac Man micro arcade from Super Impulse. As I mentioned, it's the Series 5, the first one of these that I've had a chance to look at. The back, of course, is just showcasing what all the features are and what you're going to get. You got a charging cable in there. There are a couple of details about how the packaging is laid out that make me both excited and cautious. First, I'm excited that unlike some of the previous ones, they actually will let you turn this one on and play it before you get it home. And so maybe they have a little more confidence in that audio. It's the call out on this screenshot that makes me a little cautious. It says authentic gameplay and arcade graphics, but doesn't mention the audio. Maybe they're being realistic, or maybe the audio is not up to snuff. There's no need for hesitation though. Let's get this thing open and find out how it plays. Now, of course, inside we have the unit itself. We're going to get to that in a second. We have a charging cable, which you probably have a million of these, but it's nice that they include it when a lot of manufacturers are stopping inclusion of charging devices. I'm looking at you, Apple and Samsung, but you do have a little micro USB charging cable. We also have this ever increasingly growing and impressive catalog of stuff that Super Impulse has. That is always fun to look at. And of course, they have an instruction manual, which we're going to read from cover to cover before we... no, we're not. We're going to throw that away. So here's our Ms. Pac Man micro arcade unit. Yeah, it looks just like you'd expect. It's that nice credit card size, which is really nice. You have a 4-way D-pad here. You have an A and a B button, which I expect is just for form factor. You don't even need buttons aside from start game. On the top right, we have that power on off. Over here on the top left, of course, is that audio on or off, which is off if it's bad audio, as we all remember. On the bottom, you have that micro USB charging port, and around the back, nothing to write home about, but it is that nice metallic gold for Ms. Pac Man. It has micro arcade logo right on it. Now, as I said, I'm really excited to find out if they've made any improvements in the audio arena here. The gameplay has always been pretty good, and the screen's been pretty good. That's what I'm most concerned about, so let's take it for a spin. And power on. There's Ms. Pac Man. All right, let's give it a shot. That music that's a nice try. Yeah, I feel like this blippy little piezo speaker audio is actually getting better. The music itself started out the game pretty nice. And considering what we have to work with here, what's the blip? Oh, that's my moving fruit. Came in the side door there. See the cherry bouncing around? Yeah. Now I'm missing a couple of turns here and there. Don't blame the system for that. I'm just getting used to these controls, I think. I'm actually adapting pretty quickly here. It's not bad. Animation is a little choppy, but I mean not... Again, I can't be too picky considering this is the size of a credit card and they've crammed Ms. Pac Man in it. I think actually, for being Series 5, I'm going to have to give this credit for actually showing some improvement. This is not going to be your absolute favorite way to play Ms. Pac Man, but you can see that they've been listening and working on the quality. Oh, end of screen 1. We've definitely got to take it to Act 1 at least. I want to hear that music, of course, in the cutscene. And of course, we also need to find out if The different mazes are in here. I mean, it would be not Ms. Pac Man if it was all one maze, so theoretically we should get to screen 3 and be the second maze, right? Aside from the limited frames of animation, this feels right. It's a little slower, maybe a shade slower. That could be my gut feeling, but I think it is. The audio is really not killing me. I mean, it is kind of squeaky, for sure, but it's not that same, nails on a chalkboard sound that I remember from the other Pac-Man. Or maybe I'm just getting old and my memory is not what it used to be. I'm not sure. The more I play, I'm getting very used to the controls. The D-pad, it really works out okay. Yeah, would you rather have a joystick for Ms. Pac Man? Sure, but... Alright, let's see how we do. Nice. Hey, and there's the second map! So I'm going to assume then that we have all the maps as we should. You know what? I've got to find out. I can't just assume all the maps are there. Let's find out. Because I'm leaning toward giving this a pretty favorable review if all the boards are there. Made it through board 3. Moving on. This D-pad is really growing on me. I'm making turns that I otherwise might have missed on a lesser D-pad, so can't be too upset about the controls. It should be Act 2 now. Yep. Missing a few notes. But fun, nonetheless. I mean, even though it's missing some notes. All right, we got the third map. All right. Oh. Okay, I'm sorry. I tried several times, but my hands started cramping on this little D-pad, trying to hold it in front of the camera to get to capture that fourth screen. But I'm going to give them credit. I think the fact that, look, you had the cutscenes, you had both of the acts, you had 3 of the 4. I got to guess that that fourth one is in here. Hey, if you get this, and you can tell me otherwise, but even if it's not, I'm going to review it on the assumption that all 4 of the different maps and mazes are in here. And I can't imagine that they're not based on what I've seen so far. Okay, I think we know what we need to know about this little Ms. Pac Man micro arcade.
Now, of course, if you're a Gen X grown-up like we are, you're going to need your reading glasses to play a game this small, but I don't need them to tell you what I think about. What did I do with that? Oh yeah, fits right in your pocket because it's the size of a credit card. So this little Ms. Pac Man micro arcade from Super Impulse, we had a chance to take a good look at it, give it a good playthrough. I played it for an hour or so. Couldn't quite make it to that 4th level, just again because my hand was cramping up a little bit. I'll chalk that up to old age as well. But, you know, I said there were several things in this review that I was excited about. The first, of course, was the procrastination. We got that done. Obviously, I've done nothing but this afternoon. The second was to see Ms. Pac Man. And I think almost all of the Ms. Pac Man-ness you could expect out of a credit card-sized version of this classic arcade game has been crammed into this little guy. It has limitations, and we know that. If this were in a unit that was, you know, the size of one of these arcade classics or a My Arcade, you would say, boo, boo, but we know what's possible in these little guys for 20 bucks. And the third thing that I was excited about was to see if they have upped their game in the Series 5 line. And I think it's fair to say they have. This is definitely not as grating on the ears as the Pac-Man was, or the Pong was, that Centipede, the one we looked at before. It's not exactly the sound you want to hear out of Ms. Pac Man, but they're making improvement. So this isn't a knockout of the park. This isn't a rock star version of Ms. Pac Man. But for something like this, you can just throw in your pocket and have with you any time to have a quick fix of Ms. Pac Man. I think it's pretty cool. Now I did check, by the way, high scores don't save, so just take a picture of it if you want to save your high score. None of these have so far, so that really didn't surprise me. But taking all those things into consideration, seeing the gameplay that we had, the fun that I had with it, the improvements that they've made, for this new version of Ms. Pac Man on the Super Impulse Micro Arcade, I'm going to give you 3¼ tokens out of 5. You're making good progress. This is a fun little gadget to have. If you're collecting them, you shouldn't be upset about paying another 20 bucks to get this in your collection. I'm not, and I'm happy that I've got it, and happy I could bring it to you. I hope you found something to enjoy in this video, and I will talk to you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey, you made it to the end. If you liked this video, the best way to say thanks is to watch one more. Here are a couple suggestions that you just might enjoy. And if you love our content, maybe consider becoming a Patreon supporter by following the link on screen.
Unacceptable for grown-ups. Your dinner cannot just be french fries.